has to understand Krishna not directly, but through the medium of the spiritual master. The spiritual master is the transparent medium, although it is true that the experience is direct. This is the mystery of the disciplic succession. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jaya Mudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistikhi. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24 and Text 27. Ahom Papachyamananam Aho Papachyamananam Niraye Svaihi Amangalaihi Niraye Svairamangalaihi Kalena Bhuyasa Nunam Kalena Bhuyasa Nunam Prasidhantiha Devataha Prasidhantiha Devataha Aho Papachyamananam Niraye Svairamangalaihi Kalena Bhuyasa Nunam Prasidhantiha Devataha Aho Papachyamananam Niraye Svairamangalaihi Kalena Bhuyasa Nunam Prasidhantiha Devataha. Ahom, O Papachyamananam, with those being much afflicted, Niraye, in the hellish material entanglement, Svaihi, their own, Amangalaihi, by misdeeds, Kalena Bhuyasa, after a long time, Nunam, indeed, Prasidhanti, they are pleased, Iha, in this world, Devataha, the demigods. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation. Kardama Muni said, "Oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds. Please repeat. Kardama Muni said, "Oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This material world is a place for suffering which is due to the misdeeds of the inhabitants, the conditioned souls themselves. The sufferings are not extraneously imposed upon them. Rather, the conditioned souls create their own suffering by their own acts. In the forest, fire takes place automatically. It is not that someone has to go there and set a fire. Because of friction among various trees, fire occurs automatically. When there is too much heat from the forest fire of this material world, the demigods, including Brahma himself, being harassed, approach the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and appeal to him to elevate the condition. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends. In other words, when the demigods become distressed by the sufferings of the conditioned souls, they approach the Lord to remedy the suffering, and the Personality of Godhead descends. When the Lord descends, all the demigods become enlivened. Therefore, Kardama Muni said, after many, many years of human suffering, all the demigods are now satisfied because Kapila Deva, the incarnation of Godhead, has appeared. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Parboto Madhyanatimidandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Shashunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Kardama Muni approached Lord Vishnu after understanding that he has descended into his family, and then he offered his obeisances and he started offering his prayers to him. Aho papacchamananam nirayesvairamangalai. Because of people's own activities, niraye, there is a hellish condition in this world, and everybody is papacchamananam, afflicted. And so the demigods, prasidantiha devata, iha devata, that means the devatas of this universe, prasidantiha, they became pleased, and then kalena bhuyasa, after a long time, they became pleased with the they concerned with the suffering of the conditioned souls, and they pleased to approach the Supreme Lord. So this is the situation in this world. Everybody thinks that they are the enjoyers and proprietors of this land, although the true proprietor and enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody knows that we all come naked and be here for some time, and then again while going, we'll all be naked. The final rituals, if you see, they take away all the clothes of the dead body, and then the naked body will be on the pyre. So in between, so we have come into a certain system which is already running here in this world. And we come here, and then everybody thinks that he is the proprietor and he is the enjoyer of everything in this world. So we have come here, we have set up a revenue department and we said, yes, this land is yours, this land is yours. But actually, originally, nobody is the proprietor of any of these lands. We are simply distributed among ourselves and trying to enjoy. And so these people who are very much geared up to enjoy more and more, his next thinking is how I can become more powerful. Everybody tries to increase their material strength by various mechanisms. Some people think if I can become a politician, I will have a lot of material strength. Somebody may think if I become an IAS, an IPS, I can become very strong. Like that, everybody, they try to increase their material strength more and more. And at the national level, this strength will be in terms of accumulating more and more weapons, more and more soldiers, increasing their army more and more. Actually, it is after Krishna, he reaches Dwaraka, he completed his mission in Kurukshetra. It is explained here, evam rupanam kshitibhara janmanam. When these kings, they increased their military strength, horses, elephants, chariots, infantry, etc., what happened is, kshitibhara, the earth became burdened. So as they go on increasing their material strength, material power, military strength and military powers, the rulers, as they become more and more strong, the earth becomes burdened. And that environment will become very afflicting. Here it is mentioned, niraye means hellish. For the saner section of the people, for the devotees, this kind of an environment will become hellish. It is hellish for everybody, particularly for the saner section, for the devotees. So, when they are afflicted like that, the Lord descends by His internal potency, and then what happens? Here, akshobhani parivritta tejasam. Tejasa means they have enhanced their potency. They have increased their prowess by acquiring so much of military power. Then what does the Lord do? Vidhaya vairam swasano yathanalam. Here it is mentioned, vidhaya, He creates vairam, hostility. The Supreme Lord creates the hostilities among these powerful rulers who have become very puffed up by their military strength. Swasanaha, interaction of the wind and the pipe plants, bamboo plants. Yatha analam, fire. So, here the example is given. In the forest there are many, particularly these bamboo plants, and during summer particularly you see if there is a forceful wind, the bamboos will rub each other. There is one tree here, one tree next to it, they rub each other and immediately there is a fire. So that fire, when it comes, mitaha vadhena, they kill each other. These powerful rulers who acquire a lot of military strength, there will be some hostility. The hostility could be because of some ideology, somebody thinks my ideology, my religion is superior, and the other people's ideology is inferior, and then he decides that they should be eliminated, or it could be any other ideology. So on the basis of some speculative ideologies, it is not the wish of the Lord, but then they, here it is mentioned, Swayambhu, by their own inauspicious deeds, Vadena, they kill each other, and Nirayuda, in the end they'll become without any ayuda. They lose all their power. This is the design. Although Krishna personally has not participated in Kurukshetra. Lord is neutral. But then, by the design of the Supreme Lord, you see, when somebody becomes puffed up, very proud, these rulers particularly, then there will be fighting, hostilities between each other. Like in last October, the CEO of the JP Morgan, I think finance wing, I think Mr. Diamond or something, some name, he said, already the World War III has begun. There are so many wars apparently going on here and there, but all these wars are interconnected. And every war on the ground is coordinated by multiple countries. Some sides, Russia and China, they are all supporting. On the ground, they are coordinating. And the other side, there are other America, NATO, all those countries, they are coordinating on the ground. So it is no more an isolated wars between some two countries or two sections of the the society, but it is interconnected. All these wars are interconnected. After all, the globe is interconnected. It has become one single village. So all these wars are actually coordinated by multiple countries. The other day there is a piece of news that there is one country called Syria, and there, some kind of a government used to be there, and that got collapsed. And apparently the rebels have taken over. And then the New York Times says, in Syria, the militants who are funded by Pentagon of America are fighting with militants who are funded by CIA of America. In America, there are two institutions. One is funding these militants, one more is funding these militants, and both are fighting. And America is supplying weapons to both the sides, and GDP is increased. After all, everybody wants to see GDP is increased. Doesn't matter how many millions of people are died and how much of the violence is happening. So whenever there is this kind of a unusual military power, America spends in trillions of dollars. There is a chart. I think in 22-23, I think, they have given what is the military spending of various countries. Of course, the first is America. Second one, any guess? Second one is China. Third one, Russia. And fourth one is India. The top four countries who are spending and accumulating more and more weapons. They're increasing their military strength more and more. Then comes Swayambhu. There will be, by their own acts, there is a possibility of a fire, hostility between these countries. They all fight with each other. They fight for increasing their GDPs. and they don't care who dies and who doesn't. So this is the scenario. So when there is too much of such activity, when the fire is increasing in the society, the heat reaches the devatas also, iha devatas. They start getting the heat, and they are also harassed by that heat. All these quarrels finally reach the devatas also. And then it is said here, then they approach the Supreme Lord for remedy. Actually, Krishna has given already a system by which everybody can coexist peacefully. Parasparam bhavayantaha. In the 3rd chapter it is mentioned how the devatas and the living entities, the human beings, can cooperate each other and then prosper together. In this world, cooperation is the principle. Nobody can be independently or isolatedly, he can become powerful or he can achieve something. It is always by cooperation. Everybody has to depend on other personalities. The human beings, all the living entities in all these planets, they are dependent on the devatas. Devatas are constitutes, they constitute the government, universal government. As we discussed in the last class, government means they form the laws, then there is a reward. If somebody follows those laws, they are rewarded, and if somebody violates those laws, then he is punished. So you will see the universal government also imposes penalties, imposes all the punishments and also rewards. And sometimes this universal government will be taken over by demons. Then they change all the laws. There won't be focus on Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. The demons will say, first you kill the cows, then the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, that is their law. When Hiranyakashipu took over, he took over the functionalities of even fire, air, how they function. Everything he has changed. And centered around his own sense gratification. This is how the demons are. So when the laws change, all the universal inhabitants have to change their practices and they have to fall in line with the government. But then ultimately the Lord is there. His design is there and His will is there. And this material nature simply abides by the order of the Supreme Lord. So that's why you see, even though one may be very powerful demon, ultimately those elements will be subdued and finished, annihilated by the Supreme Power. So here, Kalena Bhuyasanunam Prasidanti Iha Devata. So these devatas are actively involved in our lives. Jai Radha Govinda. It is said that Karya Karana Katrutve Hetuhu Prakrutiruchyate. This is 13th chapter, 21st verse. Purushaha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. Now, here it is mentioned that the living entities, their suffering is because of their own acts. Niraye Svairamangala, by their inauspicious acts, Papacchamanayam, they become very afflicted. So, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining who is responsible for what. He is defining the roles and responsibilities of the nature and the living entities. Because it's a government, everybody has their own allotted duties to do. Here it is said, Karya Karana Katrutve. Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects. So, all the material activities, what we see, and the effects of them, the cause is the nature. So, for example, if the rulers become very proud and accumulate all those military strength, they create hellish conditions. Those effects are hellish. Yes, it's all done by the nature, but by their own desire. The living entities, they desire. We want like this. We want to spend trillions and we want to accumulate more and more weapons. Previously, the drones were not there. Now the drones have come into military. And it'll come and then it'll kill somebody and then it'll go away. The foreign country can send a drone and then it'll come and then like in Iran, it is said that there is one, America wanted to kill somebody, I think in Lebanon or somewhere, and then just they have trained up one drone and it has, they first collect the data, how that person is moving, behaving, what is his habits. And after understanding all that, they decide what is the best time slot. If he is a Hare Krishna devotee, they know when he is going to chant, when he will get up. Very easy to. So, like that person is also a religious person. So, he also has some practice like that. And they decided, okay, this is the best time. And in a particular time, that particular drone or something came. It is equipped with releasing some weapons and finished. He was removed from the scene. So everybody wants to increase their material strength. And they consider, he is my enemy and he is my friend. And because of those calculations, they think my enemy should be removed. Now I have removed one enemy, one more is there. If I can remove him, then I am completely safe. And there is no opponent for me. Sarva Bhaumadipatya. This is called unrivaled kingdom. Krishna promises Arjuna, you win this battle, you will get unrivaled kingdom. But Arjuna is a devotee, he is saying, no. I don't want that. I am worried about the sinful activity, sinful reactions. What will I enjoy even if I get such a big kingdom? This is devotee's mode. A pure devotee means he has no calculation of this is my enemy and this is my friend. A devotee has no enemies. This is pure devotion. No devotee should consider this particular man, this particular person is my enemy. No. This enemy and friend, success and failure, these are all creations of the external energy. So a devotee, if he wants to progress, he has to transcend these dualities. He has to transcend these calculations. So, but then people who are absorbed in this external energy, their calculations will be in terms of this dvandva, dualities. He is my enemy, he is my friend, he is my supporter, he is my enemy supporter. Like that, in the politics we see this. Continuously they work on the basis of these calculations. But whereas devotees, they don't. If somebody creates trouble, he thinks it is my own doing. Here Bhagavad Gita is saying, Purushaha sukha-dukkhanam bhotrutve. The living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. If I get enjoyment, he will be somebody. Ordinarily, the calculation is like this. The conditioned living beings, what they think is, if someone is bringing some good news, some enjoyment to us, then we think he is my friend. And if somebody is bringing some bad news, some suffering, some kind of a problem, then he becomes my enemy. This is our calculation. But the living entity itself is responsible for any suffering or any enjoyment. Here it is mentioned, Purushaha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. So that's why devotee, he doesn't blame anybody. If he gets into any awkward situation, he gets into any afflicted situation, he doesn't blame others. He thinks, okay, it is my own doing. Bhoktrutve. I am enjoying, I am suffering because of I am the cause. He thinks I am the cause. And then he continues to serve the Supreme Lord. They are not affected by these dualities, nor they chase people as, oh, he is my enemy, let me finish him off. Our devotees are not interested like that. They don't, he gave me suffering, one day I will give him something. I want to give him back. No vengeance feeling, no revenge feeling. He doesn't chase any person. He always respects the person, although he condemns his actions. You can hate the sin, but not the sinner. So you can condemn somebody's action. It could be in Bangladesh, it could be anywhere else. You can condemn the action. But we are not going to become developing those feelings towards some individual, inimical feelings. But if he is attacking the deities, if he is attacking then he is a demon. And then devotee, within his capacity, he prays to the Lord for the annihilation of the demons. Whatever we have to do within our adhikara, we should do. If it is not within our adhikara, we can only appeal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Purushaha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve heturuchyate. So here so Lord is neutral. He is not supporting either this camp or that side. And his design of this material world is such that his prakriti is such that karya karana katrutve hetur prakriti is such that anybody who becomes materially puffed up, then you will see there will be hostility. He starts thinking in terms of enemy and then friend and all that. In the 16th chapter, those qualities are described by Krishna. Somebody becomes materially very strong, very powerful. His thinking will be like this, that how to finish off my enemies. So devotees on their own, they don't become enemy of anybody. But if somebody becomes inimical and comes on to them, then he has to do the needful to protect himself and to protect the temple. And he does everything that is possible within his capacity and takes the steps to protect himself and the deities. That is very much authorized. Otherwise, he is not interested in designating some people, some category, some sect as enemies. And he doesn't think that, oh, they're all going to they're going to kill me one day. If they become very strong, they're going to kill me one day. So let me kill them. He is not worried about his own death. But then his worry is about the deities, the worry is about the temples, and the other Vaishnavas, is worried about the other Vaishnavas, and that is a bona fide concern. So at that time, he has to do whatever is possible within his capacity, his adhikara, and ensure that he does something with authorization. Everybody has to work with authorization. They cannot simply create their own feelings and the calculations of hostilities and then announce wars or announce battles. No, everything has to be authorized. Then only there is a will of the Lord, and then we are safe. Otherwise, we will also be part of this fire, analaha. So we'll see Kardama Muni's further prayers, very interesting prayers he offers to Lord Vishnu. Any questions? And then, since there is an incarnation already of the Supreme Lord, and we are seeing that some countries are becoming more and more powerful, military strength is increasing, and incarnation is already present. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So if you take shelter of this incarnation and chant nicely, rigorously, then all the wars will happen quickly and they will be free from all these weapons. They lose all their power. So we are not going to ask the Lord that, okay, no, let there not be any war, let there not be, no, we are not going. We pray for the satisfaction of the holy name and let the Lord decide how to handle these hostilities. And we have seen in the history, the Lord handles like that. He is neutral, but there will be hostilities. And like bamboo rubbing each other, the hostilities will create a fire, and analaha, everything will be destroyed. This is going to be the destiny unless they come to their senses and they surrender to the Supreme Lord. Stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam